AWA, the Major League of Professional Wrestling. This bout, one fall. Introducing first out of New York City at 280 pounds. Here's Bob Owens. And his opponent out of Stone Mountain, Georgia at 472 pounds. He is Jerry Blackwell. Your referee, Eddie Sharkey. One fall now down to Larry Nelson at ringside.
Thank you, Ken Resnick. Look at the big man from Georgia. 472 pounds. Don't you ever think he's not fast. He's got experience, raw power. Not a whole lot that hasn't been said about Jerry Blackwell. He deserves all of it. Look at him. That man he's throwing around in there goes 280 pounds. Bob Owens out of New York. I'm Larry Nelson. With me at ringside for expert commentary, my lord, Sir Lord J. I'm sorry.
You can say it. That's all right.
What I did to you.
Okay, Larry. What I would like to open up with this is these two big men are wrestling, and of course Jerry Blackwell, one of the greatest and a real nice chap, but very vicious. I would like to say that how shocked I was not too long ago with the terrible attack by Jimmy Garvin on Rick Martell. It was a terrible thing, and it was uncalled for. It was a disgrace, as I said then, and I'll say it again. It should not happen. Rules are meant to be broken sometimes. They're meant to be bent a little. They are bent and broken, but that was not called for. It was terrible, and it's been reported to the AWA, and I'm sure they'll be acting upon it very shortly.
We need to talk about that in depth a little bit later on. Lord James Blair, so let me get the title right here. Joining me at ringside, Jerry Blackwell. When he gets mad, well, when he's not mad, he's one of the toughest I've ever seen. And when you anger the big boy from Stone Mountain, Georgia, elbow, out go the lights, at least temporarily on Bob Owens. Jerry brings him up. I have no idea what he's got in mind. You never know with Jerry Blackwell.
When you collide with a man like Blackwell, it's like a Big Mac truck running into a Greyhound bus. And the Greyhound bus wins. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Especially when you're 280 pounds yourself, and you got that coming from your side of it. It's a deadly collision. They're in the ropes. Ref's going to make them bust it up.
And Blackwell is a nimble person, very agile and nimble.
Well, Bob Owen decided to break with a couple of shoulders to the belly and a knee lift, and I got a funny feeling he's going to regret that. Of course, Jerry's got that patch on his forehead. From his wrestling wars, he suffers cuts, bruises, and broken this and that. Now look, he's got the patch on his forehead. Bob Owens takes a shot with a fist, but the hard head of Jerry Blackwell injured the fist of Bob Owen. Unbelievable, this Jerry Blackwell.
Well, any of us who've been in any kind of brawls or fights and you punch somebody on the head and you don't hit him right, you can break your hand.
Well, I've seen Jerry Blackwell headbutt people with blood streaming out of his forehead. I mean, that's the kind of skull we're talking about here.
A lot of people, Larry, have a different degree of pain.
Look out!
Here it comes.
Now what's going on? Sheik Adnan and King Kong Brody into the ring area where Jerry Blackwell is fighting Bob Owens. He's distracted and he gets attacked from behind. There's that headbutt we were talking about, even though he's got that patch on his head. Jerry Blackwell very concerned, and well, he should be. Sheik Adnan and King Kong Brody, very dangerous men. Now Blackwell throws Owens out of the ring. Now what's Brody going to do? What is on the mind of King Kong Brody? He's going to throw Owens back in.
The smartest thing that Blackwell did was to throw his opponent out of the ring so they couldn't gang up on him. He headbutts him, and there's King Kong Brody. Sheik Adnan
We got another official out here trying to keep Brody halfway under control, but I've seen him go through a series of 5 or 6 wrestlers to get him to attack. Sheik Adnan LKC trying to get him back. Meanwhile, Bob Owens regained his Brody and Casey have left the ring area, at least temporarily. And Bob Owens is working on Jerry Blackwell.
And Blackwell is down. I've never seen him go down from a punch for a long time.
Well,
the big man's on him, and maybe it did work. Whoa! A 2 count, very close, 2.5.
You got to beat a long time on the big man from Stone Mountain. That's 472 pounds in that wrestling ring.
What's this?
Oh, and 280 just came right down on top of him. 2 count, that's all he got.
Some of the busiest men in wrestling, the men in the striped shirts, the umpires, or the referees. One of the most difficult jobs to do.
2 count, Jerry Blackwell's man. Now look out. Well, a few expletives for Bob Owens, and now the punches. Bob Owens is going to get the big splash. Oh!
I thought the ring was going. Boy, he laid him low. Here he goes. The people are going wild. And they're cheering for Jerry Blackwell. He wants the coup de grace.
Power body.
Oh!
It's over. What's it gonna be? 472 pounds of power body slam after the big splash. Oh, I hope we got them both on slow-mo. Let's see what we got here. You want to see a ring move? Now watch this. Power body slam is 472 pounds. Look at that ring shake. The big man from Stone Mountain does it again. There's your winner. Take a good look. Jerry Blackwell.
All right, St. Louis, now I do want to tell you this interview I'm about to conduct with the Missouri champion Jerry Blackwell was pre-recorded before the big card at Kiel Auditorium on January 4th. Jerry Blackwell, if you will. Certainly a number of wrestlers all wanting to throw their name in the hat for a crack at you in that Missouri championship.
Let me tell you something. You know, everybody knows by now just exactly what happened. Just exactly how Kevin Von Erich was beat, was humiliated, and went back home crying to his daddy. And when he got there, his daddy probably kicked him in the head and said, "What are you doing back here, son?" Well, let me tell you something. The old man couldn't do it either. I used to slap him around. Another thing I want to talk about. You know the world heavyweight champion, Ric Flair. By now, everybody knows how he wiped the mat with so-called King Kong Brody. Well, boy, I guess you was taught a lesson, too. You know, there's a lot of people going to be taught a lot of lessons. And Harley Race, you're another one. You're going to be taught a lot of lessons, too. And Wahoo McDaniels, you're another one on my list. There's a lot of people on my list. You know, I'm the only world champion that don't have the title. I've beat everybody. I've beat every champion. I've never lost a match. And when I go down there, the world champions, they don't want to wrestle me. Ric Flair doesn't want to wrestle me. Ricky Martell doesn't want to wrestle me. There's no world champions that want to get in the ring with the greatest they are. Well, let me tell you something. I've got the Missouri title, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to challenge anybody, and I'm going to challenge everybody. You know, I'm going to challenge Wahoo McDaniels. If you've got any guts, Big Nose Indian, come get in the ring with me. Or I'll challenge the Von Erichs. I'll challenge Ric Flair. I'll challenge King Kong Brody. Anybody that wants to get in the ring with a Missouri State champion, just come on, get in the ring, and I'll whoop you, boy, like I own you.
All right, wrestling fans, stay with us. We'll be right back right here on the Major League of Professional Wrestling. At 307 pounds, here's King Kong Brody, your referee, Joe Fiorino.
Ken Resnick will run for his life now. He gets out of there in a hurry when Brody and the Sheik are in, and why not? They haven't even called for the bell. We're going to give it to him. Brody threw a chair in right away and attacked Terry Ellis. Now, unless he does something I've never seen him do before, you will not see King Kong Brody apply one single wrestling hold. into the turnbuckle. He will beat and kick and punch and slam and choke, but he will not apply a mistake. I'm Larry Nelson. With me with expert commentary, we have Lord James Blears. What do you think of this, Brody?
Larry, as you were saying, this man, he is a good wrestler, but we don't have to describe him to you. All you have to do is look at the size of that man. He's massive. He's over 300 pounds.
Yeah. 6'7", over 300 pounds. No wrestling holds. He's here to beat you up.
And he's getting wound up right now. This man is a dangerous man. Very dangerous. And Sheik Adnan another wrestler who is the manager, guiding King Kong Brody, hopefully, to win the World Championship.
Well, Brody throws Terry Ellis out of the ring.
Gotta watch out. Brody's going outside the ring. The referee says no, but he's going out. Brody's going after him. The referee controls him.
Terry Ellis trying to get back in the ring. Met with a big foot of Brody. Size 14 feet. He keeps that chin up all through his matches. After he left Santa Fe, I guess there was another building that took over to be the biggest thing in town. Look at that elbow. Now, this usually means the flying leg drop, maybe the knee, the elbow. You never know with Brody. Oh, boot to the side of the head. Gotta knock your ear off.
Vicious. He's a vicious man, but that's the name of wrestling. You've got to be tough and rough and be able to take it. If you can't take it, don't be a wrestler.
Well, he's being directed by a man that we know is capable of anything, and that is Sheik Adnan Casey. Casey distracts the referee, and Brody just continues to bear down on Terry Ellis, even though they're in the ropes. Yep. Now, you tell me, have you seen one wrestling hold from King Kong Brody? Look at this man. Just look at him.
He's got a hand as big as that man's hand, and he's ripping and tearing away. The referee is losing control of this match.
How can anyone keep control of a minute with this man in it? Now the chops.
Look at the wild look in his eye. Look at Brody. If you can catch a shot, a real tight shot, and see the wild look, you know what I'm talking about. Wow.
Yeah, the man has an animal look to his eyes. Oh, look at that. Like a football lineman coming off. Ellis is out of it. The match is over unless Brody gets himself disqualified. Casey says, pour it on. There's no way Ellis can come back from this. That's going to be a chop to the head. Now, he's got his hand bandaged. Come on, pin the man. Get it over with.
He's going for submission. He has the submission. The man could quit. I hope he does for his own sake. Come on now. Well, it's up to him. He knows what he's doing. He's tearing the head right back, digging into the back of the neck. No, he didn't. Submit.
Oh. Brings the knee down. Brody looks to Casey for more direction. Sheik Adnan Casey directs
300 pounds, ladies and gentlemen.
There goes the knee again. This is just too brutal to have to go on. Somebody should stop this. There's no getting around it. No need for it. Body slamming. This Terry Ellis is beat. Casey says, give it to him again. Oh, the flying knee.
Oh, my God.
I can think of two people that's put out of wrestling, at least temporarily. Come on. And finally it's over. Casey comes in. Look at that. King Kong Brody. Savage. Let's see if we've got it on slow-mo. That knee put a couple of men out of wrestling, at least temporarily. And when he goes up into the eye, he just keeps working on him. Now he'll go way up in the air. And now look at him come down. Oh, wow. 307 pounds coming down across Terry Ellis, and of course it's over. Is there anybody, anywhere, that can stop King Kong Brody?
All right, wrestling fans. Ellis and their opponents, you can hear it in the background. Out of the great city of Chicago, Illinois. At a combined weight of 565 pounds. As always, accompanied by their manager, Precious Paul Ellering. They are indeed the tag team champions of the world, the Road Warriors. Your referee, Joe Fiorino. Now down to ringside.
Here it goes. Watch them. They don't wait for a bell. Hawk and Animal attacking their opponents.
Oh, my God. There they go.
Paul Ellering, let's ring the
Everybody's
bell.
been cleared out of the ring. They're gone. Ellering's in the ring. That lasted 3 seconds. And the two opponents, Rocky King and Terry Ellis, are outside the ring, attacked by the big men, the Road Warriors.
They're famous for that maneuver. I heard Paul Ellering bragging about an IQ of 150. He just got inducted into the MRSA fraternity. That is a fraternity for people with IQs over 150, and he's come up with a new name, Professor Precious Paul Ellering. Look at the men that he manages. Look at this. Pressing 215-pound Rocky King. Finally, Animal throws her into the mat. Oh, the leg.
I've never seen anything like this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a massacre.
You could have had him. Could have had him, but he didn't do it. Animal bearing down. Now he's going to let the Hawk come in for a while.
He's nothing but a punk. The audacity of him to get into the ring.
You hear Paul Ellering ranting and raving at Rocky King. Meanwhile, you see the Hawk just working him over. The Hawk is 275 pounds, a massive man, and he's the smaller of the two. The Animal goes at 290. Now look at this. Incredible. Let's see if he really will pin him this time. Nah. Hawk's going to bring him out. They do this time and time again. I don't understand it. Now Hawk is going to throw him over into the corner so that he can tag Terry Ellis. Hawk wants somebody fresh to beat on for a while. Look at this.
There comes Ellis. Gets the kick. The Hawk is in, the Animal is out. They're both the same. They're wild, vicious, and tough.
Just beats him with those forearms, chops.
You're gonna learn what it's like to wrestle
He's going
the Legion of Doom.
into the turnbuckle. You hear Paul Ellering hollering about the Legion of Doom. The Hawk tagged off, but he's still beating on Terry Ellis. Now the Animal is taking over. Backbreaker. He could pin him. We'll see if he does this time. Nope.
They're still pulling him up. And those are the orders from Precious Paul Ellering. I think I could read his lips telling his two men, the Road Warriors, to keep in there and have a workout.
Then again, they intentionally let the man tag off. Rocky King comes in, gets an elbow that turns the lights out on him, and gets stomped on the chest for his trouble.
And some of the fans in the back holding up the pictures of the Road Warriors. No matter what you think about them, ladies and gentlemen, you have to admit that they are the biggest tag team you've ever seen in condition and for speed and agility. They've just got it.
Rocky King didn't know where he is. Paul Ellering giving him all kinds of verbal abuse.
That's it.
That thing you see Paul Ellering carrying is the Wall Street Journal. Oh, look at the slam.
That was a one-arm slam, a scoop slam.
Get up and fight like a man.
Can you believe it? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
Get up and fight like a man.
Rocky King has no idea where he is or what he's doing. Now, here's the tag.
I believe that you said he had an IQ of 150. He seems to be a sadist.
Oh, wow. Down he comes. Hawk continuing to punish King. Now in comes the Animal. Come on, pin the man. Paul Ellering shouting instructions. Clotheslined him. Maybe he'll do it this time. One. He got three of them. And there's your bell. Raising the hands of the Hawk and the Animal. In comes Ellering to raise his own. How could there be anything left of Rocky King? Let's see if we got that clothesline in slow-mo. They
What's
do
the
this.
power, the power, the power, the power.
And the perfect timing. Now he just puts his hands on him. It's all over. The Animal takes the pinfall, and the champions score again. The Road Warriors, your winners.
Wrestling fans, now available from All Star Friday night, January 25th, that big card at Kiel Auditorium. Promoter Pat O'Connor, very hard at work indeed. And speaking of that card, Precious Paul Ellering, a great deal of speculation as to just when the Road Warriors will return here to St. Louis to defend the Tag Team Championship.
Well, we know when we get a lot of money, that's when we'll be back in St. Louis. Until then, Pat O'Connor, you better come up with something else. Now, are you a well-read individual or are you not?
I like to think so, yes.
Yeah, okay. I was reading Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. Oh, yes. It said, these are the best of times, and these are the worst of times. Well, the best of times is being the manager of the Legion of Doom, and the worst of times is trying to sign these two men to a contract. Right, Pat O'Connor? And wrestlers having to wrestle these two men. I know that's the worst time you're ever going to have. Tell them.
Hey, you know what? Last time we were in St. Louis, we were hooking a ride back on some choppers back to the south part of town, because that's where we were staying. That's supposed to be the bad side of St. Louis. Well, me and Animal took a quick look at south side of St. Louis and had a big old laugh on the south side of St. Louis because it wasn't tough at all. We seen the people there. They look like a bunch of bums to me, and there ain't a person in St. Louis deserves to see me and Animal tear heads off.
Hey, the south side of St. Louis, you look like Walt Disney World. A bunch of clowns all dressed up stupid. You people ain't bad. St. Louis, you ain't seen us because there ain't been no competition for us. Maybe someday you get some worthy opponent. Maybe we'll come there. Maybe not.
All right, wrestling fans, they are indeed the Tag Team Champions of the world. Stay with us. We'll be right. Introducing first out of Atlanta, GA. He weighed in at 235 pounds. Here's Randy Barker. And his opponent, accompanied by his manager, Sheik Adnan El-Casey, out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, at 307 pounds. Here's King Kong Brody. Your referee, Eddie Sharkey. One fall now, down the ringside.
In wrestling, never waste any time getting out of the ring when Brody and the Sheik are in it. They are deadly. You never know what they're going to do. King Kong Brody, a giant, 6'7", 303 pounds. Sheik Adnan El-Casey, as dangerous as any man in wrestling. We're going to chant for a while. With me at ringside, Lord James Blears. We've seen this man wrestle several times. We know he's capable of anything.
He's starting off right now with a young man who's showing us some pretty good wrestling moves from time to time, Randy
Barker out of Atlanta, Georgia. But he's got his work cut out for him, and I don't mean that in any way lightly.
Brody is a mauler and a brawler and a kicker and a spitter and whatever he can do to get you down, get you beat, and go home.
Look at those boots on this man. Size 14 feet. And he will kick, and he will beat, and he will gouge, and he will choke. He will do anything but wrestle. Look at that chop. You wonder how a man's head can stay on when a fellow like King Kong Brody throws that. Now, Randy Barker trying to come back, but the punches don't seem to be having any effect at all on the big guy from Santa Fe.
Well, that's why when you go on a train or a bus or a plane, people say, hey, you look like a wrestler. That's because you've been pounded, and that's why you look like a wrestler. Brody looks like a wrestler. The Sheik does. And this man out here certainly does a will after this match.
Brody throws him out of the ring and gets right after him. Did you see that? He was able to kick him in the head from a stand-up position, slams Randy Barker's head into the apron, and the referee has got to get in there to save this man's career.
The referee's outside the ring trying to get control of Adnan, the Sheik Adnan El-Casey. And the match is under control.
Well, Brody takes him into the ropes. It's going to be a backdrop. It's a long way to fall on your back. Adnan El-Casey signaling to his man, King Kong Brody, to keep it up. Keep on the attack. Oh. There's the foot to the head. You're waiting for something to crack when a man that big does that to you. King Kong Brody takes him to the ropes, and there's that boot again.
The big foot and the throat.
Never-ending pounding of the feet. He's got his hand taped up. He's got a pad on one of his elbows. Body slam. You hear that ring just slam away. You see it shake. That's because a man's 6'7", 300 pounds. That ought to do it. He could pin him anytime now. It's just a matter of if Sheik Al Casey wants him to. Sheik Adnan Al Casey signaling to cover him. All Brody's got to really do is just make that ought to do it. Of course. How you going to survive that knee?
Boy, he was knocked out. He took Brody 15 seconds, and the man never moved.
Let's go to slow-mo, and you'll see how high up in the air he gets and the devastation that Brody brings down with that knee when he's not chewing on ring ropes.
303 pounds. Cannonball.
The ring shakes. You don't know what that does to a man except render him totally helpless. Look at him quiver. And now you'll wait a while before covering him. There's the winner. Deadly Man, King Kong Brody.
All right, again, wrestling fans. Now that, of course, King Kong Brody in action. But I do want to remind you, do get your tickets early. That great, great card coming up Friday, January 25th here at Kiel Auditorium. Already signed Ric Flair to defend the NWA Heavyweight Championship of the World against Kerry Von Erich. Now, Sheik Adnan El Casey, if you will. A great many challenges have gone out from you, your man, King Kong Brody, to Ric Flair, NWA Heavyweight Champion, and Rick Martell, AWA Heavyweight Champion. But as yet, I have not seen King Kong Brody's name on any championship match.
You know, my man, King Kong Brody should be the champion of the world by now. But the conspiracy of the American people against the Arab world, it's been working. It's not just in the sport of wrestling, Mr. Wrestling, but it's all over the world. Everybody knows the American conspiracy against the Arab world, whether it is in Lebanon or Baghdad, Iraq, or Damascus, or wrestling.
All right, well, Sheik is a prime example. Promoters are in agreement all throughout the world because of actions like we just saw on television. Most feel King Kong Brody is not even worthy of a shot at the heavyweight championship.
You know, I could tell by your speech you don't like the Arabs at all. What do you have against the Arab people?
I have nothing at all, Sheik Adnan El Casey. I just call the facts as they are.
You don't know what the facts is all about. The only thing you know is what you ate for breakfast, and you probably forgot already what you have. But I'll guarantee you one thing, Mr. Conradnik, my man, King Kong Brody, no longer he will be. It might take time too long until he capture the AWA Heavyweight Championship belt, and then we will have to go back to Baghdad. And you know what's going to happen?
Then what?
Then you people have to come to us to Baghdad, Iraq, and kneel down to your knees, like you be kneeling to your knees already for our oil. You know, we the Arab people got the masari, and we got the oil, and we'll have you down on your knees.
Now, Sheik, what would happen if you returned to Baghdad without the heavyweight championship?
I will not go to Baghdad without the heavyweight championship.
All right,
I will go with the heavyweight.
We'll be right back.
Allahumma salli ala-
Ball. Introducing first the team on my left out of Salt Lake City, Utah. At 215 pounds, here's Jason Walker. And his partner out of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. At 258 pounds, here's the lumberjack, Rick Renslow. Renslow. Your referee, Joe Fiorino, and their opponents. You can tell by the music, you'll hear the roar of the crowd. At a combined weight of 467 pounds, out of Delray Beach, Florida, they are indeed the fabulous ones. One fall out under Larry Nelson and the Lord at ringside.
Thank you, Kid Resnick. And the Fabulous Ones have a tough time getting to the ring. You know they do. That's because the fans can't wait to get after those autographs. I'm Larry Nelson. With me, Lord James Blair's at ringside, and we are looking at a team that's got to be considered. Now, you're on the AWA committee for selecting championship matches. What do you think?
All right, they're right up there as #1 challengers for the World Tag Team Championship. They've been up there for several weeks, and you can tell by the condition they're in, they are ready for any moment. They could be wearing the heavyweight Tag Team Championship belts.
Well, the bell's been signaled for. There it goes. Stan Lane and Rick Renslow will start this off. Stan Lane and Steve Kern are the fabulous ones. Rick Renslow, the big lumberjack from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. His partner, Jason Walker, from Salt Lake. He goes 215. I think they're yelling Bigfoot at Rick Renslow to kind of irritate him. He is not to be underestimated. Rick Renslow knows how to do this. Locks up with Stan Lane and goes right to that headlock. It's not going to last long. But Renslow gets the shoulder in. This time Stan's waiting for him. Leg takedown. Arm drag. Stan Lane is so fast. Excellent knowledge.
They make a fantastic team because Lane makes those quick moves of the karate and the savate kicking. And, of course, his partner, Steve Kearns, he uses a lot of power, and he's fast, too. Big square shoulders, does an Irish whip, spins the arm behind the back, puts on a hammerlock. What is he going to do now? Don't really know. He's pulling hair.
Yeah, he's tormenting Rick Renslow
out
there.
of his back, not out of his head.
There's a sense of humor about Steve Kern that is incredible. Now he's going to let him get over there and tag out. Renslow doesn't like it, feels humiliated. Of course he is. Let's see what Jason Walker, 215 pounds, can do against Steve Kern. They're hollering Bigfoot. And Rick Renslow, he hates that. Jason Walker and Steve Kern lock up now, and Kern wastes no time. Goes into the arm, adds an elbow to it. Tag off. Stan Lane's going to come in now. He comes down on Jason.
Okay, now they call them the Fabs, the Fabulous Ones. Two of the greatest tag team wrestlers in the world today on the AWA ladder, going for the World Tag Team Championship.
Well, they've got everything. They've got teamwork, speed. Look at that. Look at him take him over with that arm hold. They've got the teamwork. They've got the speed, the knowledge of the holds. And they add it all off. They've got that extra thing called charisma that you either got or you ain't got. There's no faking it.
You put the Fabs against the Warriors, and I'll bet you it would blow the roof right off this arena.
Well, they had the overhead shot on for a while. Steve Kern just takes Jason Walker over and lets him tag Rick Renslow. He wants Renslow in there. Renslow backing Steve into one punch, and look at that. Now they're doing the overhead. Well, they're playing with that overhead.
They don't want to come in. Either man, while they're coming in, and there's a wrestler. He's a professional. Signed this contract.
Jason Walker with a
Tag
headlock.
behind the back.
Puts a couple of fists onto Steve Kern. Boom, one to the belly. Over comes Stan Lane after the tag. Sunset flip.
1, 2, 3.
He got him, and where'd that come from? These guys put it together so quickly. Caught me flat-footed. Stan Lane and Steve Kern. Let's see it again in slow-mo. A deadly tag team, the Fabulous Ones. I didn't see a tag made.
They made a tag behind his back. We didn't see that, but I saw it.
Now look at this. Sunset flip. Look at Stan Lane. And it's over. There's nowhere Jason Walker has to go.
Beautiful maneuver.
And he comes out of it with that style that belongs to the Fabulous Ones. Your winners in AWA Wrestling.
All right, wrestling fans, again, remember, make your plans now. That big card being put together by promoter Pat O'Connor Friday, January 25th. And by the way, all of us at All Star Wrestling want to extend a very happy New Year wishes to some great fans down at Medich's, Greg Van Horn, Dwight Wheeler, and Ron Schelling, Medich's restaurant. Now, former world champion Nick Bockwinkel, if you will, I understand there are congratulations due you on a very successful tour of Japan.
Now, one would almost presume that if you have a heavyweight champion of the world, the former heavyweight champion would be the next contender.
Granted,
and
yes.
the former heavyweight champion after that would be, say, the second contender.
True, in most instances, yes.
Now, I, in this case, would be the second contender who beat the first contender, because when I went to Japan, I defeated Jumbo Shiruta. So that would automatically make me the #1 contender for Mr. Rick Martell in the AWA Heavyweight Championship, as well as make me the #1 contender for Ric Flair in the NWA Championship. Now, I find it quite repulsive and disgusting that politically they are trying to freeze me out, but I accept it as a compliment that it is. Simply because if they can keep me away from any of the champions, they have done themselves a service for those who are friends of those champions, because I would get into the ring, and when the opportunity comes to me, be it Mr. Martell or Mr. Flair, I want you to know something. I'm going to become the heavyweight champion again. Now, I've tried to wrestle with the dignity and the class and the sophistication that a champion should. And in the past, it has prevailed. But the rules seem to have changed. And they've gotten much lower, the standards, so to speak. And I'm going to have to get down and dirty. I'm going to have to shed the class and the sophistication. And I'm going to have to get grimy and get my hands filthy and do things that I might not like to do, but I'm going to do them. And I'm going to relish it because I want the heavyweight of the championship back in my hands and will do anything to get it.
Well, perhaps some words of forewarning for Nick Bockwinkel's opponents. It appears 1985 may see a rougher so-called surprise of yours.
It is a surprise indeed, not just to you, to the rest of the world, and wrestling world, Ken Resnick. The surprise I've been talking about, it has caused the Arab people plenty of money, but we don't care about the money because it's no object to us. I have paid a lot of money to bring that surprise. The man is 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighs 280 pounds. He is a powerful man, and he's a winner. The only reason I hired him is to take care of Sheik Adnan Al-Kaisi, because nobody will put his hand on Sheik Adnan Al-Kaisi.
Well,
and now I would like to present to you my surprise as the superstar.
Well, now, who in the world are you?
You know, you might not know me, but I figure that everybody in professional wrestling and all the fans know who I am. I'm the one and only masked superstar. People have heard about me and worried about me for years and years. And for a long time, I dealt with my own contract negotiations. I made my own money and I spent my own money. But I was contacted by my friend here, the Sheik, and he gave me a deal that I couldn't pass up. Tagging up possibly with Brody. Brody and myself, and maybe we're going to take those championship belts away from the Road Warriors, where I just might get my opportunity, or Brody get his to go against Martell for the World Championship. You know, there's a lot of fellas that have been making a lot of statements about the Sheik. A lot of people demanding, a lot of people complaining. All those demands and all those complaints better go out the window, because Brody and myself have been paid a lot of money. We've been guaranteed a lot of money in the future. And nobody, and I mean absolutely no one, is going to lay hands on the Sheik again.
In other words, to clarify things, as I understand it, you are being paid solely by the Sheik to protect him.
You know, you're a pretty smart man.
Hello! All right, wrestling fans, there it is, the Sheik and the masked superstar. Stay with us. We'll be back.
At the end of the show this week, because we've got an announcement coming up that is an absolute blockbuster. Get a good grip on your chair for this one. Sensational news, the kind of news that you expect from the AWA, the Major League of Professional Wrestling. Also, let me remind you, January the 25th, in a no-time limit match, Ric Flair against Kerry Von Erich for the title. Right now, let's go to Ken Resnick.
All right, now, wrestling fans, you are looking at the new AWA Tag Team Championship belts presented this past week in Amarillo, Texas, to Precious Paul Ellering, manager of the Road Warriors, by AWA President Stanley Blackburn. Now, Precious Paul Ellering, you're not signed here on the next card in January, but coming up Friday, February 15th, tremendous card being put together. Great deal of speculation as to whether Animal and Hawk will be at Kiel Auditorium to defend the World Tag Team Championship.
You know what the bottom line is?
What is that?
Money. Now, Ric Flair talks about 10 pounds of gold. What's better than 10 pounds of gold, Ric Flair? 20 pounds. And that's what this is all about. It's about money. It's about signing a contract and putting a clause in that contract. Enter the ring at your own risk. Beware. And that's the way every one of our contracts states. So think about it, promoters. Start forking out a lot of money, and you'll get the best that wrestling has to offer. Tell him, Hawk.
You know, there's only one thing that me and Animal could think of that's better than fighting. And that's getting paid to fight. Now that makes sense, don't it? Does that make a lot of sense to you, Paul? I know you like numbers. Well, we like numbers too. I want you to check out number 23-inch right here. I want you to check out number 56-inch here. What's the matter? Can't you hold on to the microphone? I want you to check out number 58, probably 60. I don't know. There ain't enough things around big enough to measure it. Tell him, big man. Hey, what do you want?
All right, I'd like perhaps some speculation on your part as to who you may face on that tremendous card coming up here in February.
Hey, St. Louis, come on, Bob Geigel, get us some competition. We beat up Buzz Sawyer. We beat up Buzz Tyler. We beat up Ted DiBiase. We beat up the Funks. We beat up the Briscoes. We want some competition. We ain't coming back to St. Louis until we get some worthy opponents. How about Jim Brunzell, Greg Gagne? Get Vern Gagne out of retirement. We'll take on you too, Jack. You're all going down.
All right, wrestling fans, remember, still to come, that tremendous bombshell we promised you. Stay with us. We'll be back. The crowd here loving this one. Saito now with a chop to the back of the neck area. Going right to work on Steve Olenowski out of Edina. A third chop, and Olenowski is down. You can hear that cracking all over the arena.
Now the chokehold. He's got the grip right on his throat, and the referee finally has to break him.
Eddie Sharkey now trying to get between the two men. Saito trying to get back at Olenowski. He does. What's he going to do now? Oh, a chop again. Pulls him back up. And again, this time it knocks Steve right down to the floor here at the arena.
Mr. Saito being cautioned. But now Steve O's got to work it off and get back in the ring.
Tremendous crowd here on hand, as you can see in the background, all the way up onto the second deck. The capacity crowd. Look at this move, up and over goes Saito. Olenowski to the count of two at the last second. Saito kicks out.
What a move.
Now the knee to the head area and head first into the turnbuckle. And a second time. Again and again.
Crowd wants some more, but they...
And across the ring he goes, and the whole ring moves. Oh! Saito alertly using the back ropes. Just throws, baiting the chin of Steve Olenowski. Now a double judo chop on the shoulder area. And again, Mr. Saito, as we've talked about, a master of martial arts. He'll throw across the ring. It brought Olenowski all the way up to his knees. A force of that blow. On again he goes. Oh! A chop right to the sternum area.
He drew a bead on it before he threw it, too. There it is again.
I'll tell you, the force of that blow, Doug, that could easily crack your sternum. Now Saito goes for a Japanese nerve hold. It's almost a form of a sleeper hold, trying to totally deaden the nerves.
That gets you on both sides.
The only hope Steve Olenowski has at this point is to try and work up to his feet.
Olenowski.
Saito, so very, very dangerous, knows all those nerve points, Doug.
Olenowski hanging in there, assuring the referee he's still in it.
You can see now the agony on the face of Steve Olenowski as those nerves continue to deaden his senses. Saito grinds away. Mr. Saito with tremendous upper body strength.
Now the crowd starting to get into it. A capacity crowd getting into it, now starting the clapping and the rhythm for Steve Olenowski, and here he is on his feet.
Three elbows to the midsection, and Olenowski able to break it. Now it drop kicks in Saito back against the ropes. Saito a little bit dazed, but he comes back with a judo chop to the back of the neck area. Oh, another one. comes off the ropes with a forearm up on the second rope. Now the elbow right to the top of the head. What a barn burner this one is, and that capacity crowd loving every second. Saito holds on the boot to the neck.
Great timing, great intuition by Mr. Saito.
Now Saito trying to spin him over, setting him up for a Boston Crab. Referee Eddie Sharkey checking Steve Olenowski. Steve-O has got to work up in the upper push-up position if he has any hopes of getting out of this one. Now, wait a minute, what happened? Saito just broke the hold.
Just broke it, I guess. Wanted to try and inflict some punishment the other way.
Well, they call him Mr. Torture for very good reason, but look at this. Toe-to-toe. Oh, now Saito rakes the fingers across the eyes of Steve Olenowski. Oh, now look at that, right over the top rope. That should be, you bet, automatic disqualification here in the AWA.
Over the top of the rope, and it's all over.
Mr. Saito disqualified, throwing Olenowski over the top rope. Now, wait a minute. He goes after him now. Hold it.
Oh, right into the canvas.
Now, come on. The referee's got to stop this. Saito throws Olenowski back in the ring. Now, he goes back in after him.
Mr. Saito furious at having been disqualified for throwing Olenowski over the rope.
Look at all he ducks over, and on knee to the chin of Saito. Saito is stunned. Here they go again, toe-to-toe in that ring.
Nothing in for each of them but pride. Now the match is over.
Now look at that. The blow by Olenowski knocks Saito right out of the ring. And Mr. Saito walking around, but
he's leaving.
He doesn't want any more part of Steve Olenowski out of Edina.
He's leaving, but look at what happened to start all of this. Olenowski over the top of the rope. Now that's an automatic. Olenowski has the match won at that point. Mr. Saito wasn't through. Let's bring in a man with a lot on his mind about that bout, certainly. Nick
Further, you can take very simply and look at this man right here, Mr. Saito, and myself. Now, that's on a personal footnote. On a team footnote, Mr. Saito and myself are making it simple for the wrestling world. The Road Warriors, the world's heavyweight tag team champions, and rated throughout the entire world as the team, right here. Mr. Torture, Mr. Class and Sophistication. When you take all of the ability that this man has, as far as wrestling goes, as far as being vicious and tough, and the nickname does say Mr. Torture, and you take the moxie and the brain power and the wrestling skill and ability that I have, you are taking the best that the Western world has and the Eastern part of this world has. And Road Warriors, I'll be very honest, you got a lot of muscles, a lot of meat, strong, but that's only part of the game. Mr. Saito-san.
I don't know. Mr. Torture knew Samurai Soul. Nick-san.
Yes.
This Samurai Soul, 500 years old. Look there.
Plenty of tradition.
My father used number 2 old. And my grandfather, number 1 old. Look there. Lot of kill people.
All right, there it is. Mr. Saito, Nick Bockwinkel, all part of that big card Friday night at Kiel Auditorium. We'll be right back. In this match, introducing, weighing 258 pounds, from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Rick Renslow. His opponent, now entering the ring, weighing 235 pounds, from Quebec City, Quebec, the heavyweight champion of the world, Rick.
And here's how he did it.
Martell attacking from the opening bell. He wound it up, dropping once, over on the suplex. That's it for Rick Renslow, and the heavyweight champion of the world chalks up another one.
All right now, wrestling fans, this the surprise we've been promising you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a bombshell that will rock the entire world of professional wrestling, because right here, for the first time ever in the AWA, the one, the only Sgt Slaughter. I cannot believe it, but welcome to the AWA.
Well, I'd like to tell everybody out there to stand at attention. That includes the cameraman. That includes the people sitting at the bar right now. That includes everybody out there.
Now, Sarge, I've got to ask you, what brought you here to the AWA?
Well, you know, I went on leave all up and down the West Coast, the East Coast, the Midwest, and when I got back to the world, they said I didn't need me anymore. They said there wasn't enough for Sgt Slaughter there. I could tell that. That's no problem.
Sergeant, when you say the world, just exactly what do you mean?
You know what I mean by the world.
I just wanted to clarify.
I had enough of the world, so I came American. USA, #1. You know, there's a lot of people around here that have been doing a lot of damage and trouble to some wrestlers and friends of mine. One of them is the Sheik. You all know what I did to the Sheik.
Well, now, but Sergeant, this is a different one. This is Sheik Adnan El Casey.
You mean there's another Sheik around?
Another one.
Well, I destroyed one Sheik. They say it was the most brutal match ever in wrestling history. Well, let me tell you, Sheik, Brody, Mass Superstar, Saito. Did I leave anybody out?
The Road Warriors.
The Road Warriors. I remember the Road Warriors in boot camp. When they came on that bus, I saw them get off, and I said, well, it's time for target practice. So I tried one of my M16s, and that's how they got that haircut. And their manager, Precious Paul Ellery. You remember me, don't you, Paul? We used to call you KP Ellery. That's how you got that name.
All right, Sarge, I'm sorry we're all out of time again. Sgt Slaughter and fans, I guarantee you'll hear a lot from this man. Some states